hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. It feels like I haven't been here in ages, but it's probably not been that long. I'm feeling super tired today. I've had a lot going on the past couple of weeks. Pretty exhausted, need to catch up on some sleep. I don't have time to have a nap right now, so I thought I would come on here and hopefully get some energy from looking at some Reddit advice today. And I decided as well that today I'm going to be really selective because we do so much about like abortion, sex, marriage, all that stuff, and I just want to do something a bit different, okay? I don't want that to be like my channel niche. So let's take a look at advice. This first one is marriage related, so let's skip past that. Ooh, is 18 and 25 a weird age gap? At that age, it's definitely questionable. I don't want to look at that one right now. Friend steals every girl I hit on. Well, that kind of sucks. So OP says, my friend steals every girl I hit on. So I'm a white male, 26 and 5'7", 210 pounds. I don't know what that is in European measurements. My friend is a Dominican male, also 26, 5'6", 160 pounds and muscular. I struggle with self-confidence. It takes a lot for me to work up enough to talk to girls. Today it took a full morning of hanging out with a friend and his husband, followed by making a sale for my company to an automotive business. I do MOT work in sales. This was a coincidence. Seems irrelevant. Okay, in order to feel good about myself, fine. I have a lot of weird interests and collects things like retro video games, heavy metal and horror t-shirts and comic books. That's not that weird. I'm also super into riding motorcycles, also not that weird. I have not dated anyone in 7 years. Tonight I had the courage to talk to an attractive goth girl at a bar. After 15 minutes or so, my friend came over and started chatting her up. She was really cool when I was talking to her, but zeroed in on him after. This always happens. Being Hispanic in a predominantly white location helps him. So many girls want him for being exotic. Ugh, I hate that. How do I request he stops talking to girls I'm trying to get with? First of all, see this whole thing of like exotic. People are human beings, not fucking parrots or carpets, okay? I hate when people use the word exotic to refer to other people. I find that so disrespectful, objectifying, and absolutely disgusting. So please don't use that word. It's fucking gross and usually racist. How do I request that he stops talking to girls I'm trying to get with? To be honest, I don't think it's that difficult. Just have a conversation with them. Just say like, look, I was trying to talk to that girl. I was hoping that maybe like I could get her number, ask her out, and then when you came along, I kind of felt as if you were trying to do the same thing, but I was already talking to her. It kind of bothers me. It seems to have happened quite a lot in the past already, and I just wanted to like talk to you about it and see if you wouldn't mind just like backing off a little bit, because you're kind of ruining my game a little bit, you know? Like, don't take it like super serious, but at the same time let him know that it does genuinely bother you, because maybe he doesn't realize, and maybe he's just fucking being nice, you know? I've talked about it in the past that I've been accused of flirting before when I'm actually just being nice. Maybe he's just a friendly guy. Maybe, you know, you're obviously out together, he came over to talk to you, didn't want to be rude, so he's talking to the other person as well, and it's not his fault if other people are interested in him, you know what I mean? And as well, like, this whole being exotic thing, like, okay, so if all the girls told you that, if all the girls told you that that's why they're interested in him, I highly fucking doubt it. Don't make so many assumptions. And you're super, like, making yourself out to be, like, some sort of, like, weirdo creep, but your interests are totally not weird at all. In fact, they're very common. So yeah, I think that you need to have an honest conversation with them, you need to work on yourself, and you need to stop referring to people as exotic. Okay? Cool. Oh, it's so toasty. It's like in the 30s today, as it's been for a while now. So I'm a bit warm, to say the least. Someone I never dated, never been in a relationship, never been confessed to. What does that mean? Is there any chance for me anymore, or am I too old at 27? Oh, do you know what? Like, I could go into this, but see, these ones are like, oh, I'm in my 20s, is it too late for me? I can't be bothered with that right now. I'm not in the mood. Kind of invited myself to a wedding, need advice or reassurance. I don't want to do wedding ones, even though this person isn't the one getting married, but I'm kind of sick of talking about weddings. Is my friend from China being rude? Ooh, might be a cultural thing, or maybe they are being rude. Let's see. Yesterday, my friend from China was over. My boyfriend and I were going to McDonald's and asked if she wanted anything. She said no and that she just wanted a coffee. She did say she would try a bit of mine, but she wasn't hungry. She ate half my meal and took my fries out of my hand and ate the rest of those too, like straight from the hand. It upset me and annoyed me because I offered to get her food. Is this a cultural difference? Every time I have food, even if I do not offer, she eats most of it. What do I do in the future? Honestly, I would be very surprised if this is a cultural thing. Like, I don't know what the culture is like, either in China or even where the OP is saying that this took place, because they don't indicate it. It's probably because they're in America and every American thinks everyone else is in America. Sorry, probably shouldn't say that, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's just fucking rude, honestly. I mean, if this is something she does all the time, like who does that? You know, who just like refuses an offer for food, but then eats most of it, like of the other person's food? I don't. Nah, I doubt this is a cultural thing, to be honest. Although, you know, I really don't know. And again, we don't know what we're comparing here. But I just think that's plain rude. And even if it is a cultural difference, it's obviously upsetting you. And this person is supposed to be your friend. So what do I do in the future? Talk to them. Just be like, see if it's another situation where you're offering to get them food and they say no. Say, look, really, like, do you want something? Because like the last few times you've said that you don't want anything and then you eat most of mine, so like it's no problem. Do you want something? And I'll just get you your own stuff, because girl, this time it's mine. I'm not letting you have it, you know? Similar to last one, like, don't make it super serious. Like, have a little bit of a laugh and a joke about it, but at the same time let them know that you mean it, and like, this is my food, stop. Or you could also as well, like, if it's not a situation where you've offered to get them food but you just you just so happen to be eating around them and then you go for grabbing, make a friend's reference, you know? Shout, Joey doesn't share food, but use your own name. I mean, it is a problem. Like, I don't like sharing my food with people. Like, and like the way I was brought up is like that sharing food is a sign of affection, and that, you know, when you have meals together or something, and you know, like, I'm Chinese but not from China. I'm from the UK, but my parents are Hong Kong Chinese, which is a bit different. And when I grew up, you know, where you would have like your own rice bowls and then sort of like communal dishes in the middle, it's like a sign of affection if you take some food and directly give it to someone else's like bowl or plate or whatever. So yeah, and I really like food. I like to eat. So I'm not the kind of person who's okay just like letting someone take half my meal. Like, I'm not okay with that. Whether that's a cultural thing or not, I don't know. But I would definitely have a talking to that friend and tell them to back off, stop eating my stuff, and like snatching it from the hand. That's like going too far as well. That's going too far. Okay. What else? A guy pushed me off the bed for calling him beautiful. This says it's not safe for work. Let me just quickly check it, right? The last couple ones you looked at that said it was not safe for work was just like nothing. Oh, it's been... Oh no, actually, click to see the content. I don't think this is actually not safe for work. It's only like 3 paragraphs long. Let me start reading it, and if I need to stop, then I will. So OP says, a guy pushed me off the bed for calling him beautiful. It was a first date. We had done physical things and I was filled with emotions. I told him, you're so beautiful, and he pushed me off the bed. I fell to the floor and bashed my head. He said, don't call me that. I got dressed and left. I'm very confused. I'm new to America from Ukraine, so I don't understand his rejection to that word. Did I say something wrong? Should I tell someone what happened? So that's the only thing of the story. It's not a not safe for work thing. That's really awful. That's assault. Like, to actually push someone so hard that they fall off the bed and bang their head and then just say, don't call me that, rather than be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to push you that hard. I just meant to like nudge you or whatever. That's clearly intentional. That guy is clearly toxic masculinity, not nice guy. You didn't say anything wrong. Should you tell someone what happened? If you feel like he's dangerous, I would say so, yeah. But I would definitely not see him again. That's not good at all. That is not good at all. Is it weird that I keep getting messages by newly created Reddit accounts? It's different, but it's not so interesting, so I'm gonna... Am I reading into this? That's so vague. Let's see how long it is. Let's see how long it is. Oh, it's not that long. Okay, so OP says, I work overnight by myself. There's another department upstairs where a woman works overnight by herself. When I started, she kept all her stuff down here, where the employee lounge and lockers are. When she wasn't on a task, she would be down here hanging out, playing on her phone and socialising. Then she slowly stopped spending so much time, then less and less. Last week I came in and immediately noticed she doesn't store her stuff down here anymore. Now she doesn't come down here at all. She doesn't even pass through when she's done smoking. It all seems very intentional to me, but I don't understand. We get along great, I thought. We have good conversations about all kinds of things, from animals to gardening to random stories from our lives. There's no sexual tension. I'm not hitting on her and she's not hitting on me. But I can't help but feel like she's going out of her way to totally avoid me, and I don't understand why. We've never had a fight or so much as a disagreement. Even now, when I do see her randomly, it's like everything's cool. I don't know what to think. It probably wouldn't bother me if this hadn't happened to me over and over again throughout my life with no apparent rhyme or reason. I try not to give it much thought or affect me, but it's hard because it seems so blatant. Interesting. I mean, if this was just a one-time thing, like reading it, I was definitely like, oh, you're reading too much into this. Like, maybe she can't be bothered going up and down anymore. Maybe there wasn't a locker available, like, on her own floor before, and now there is. So she doesn't, she doesn't want to drag her stuff back and forth. Maybe she no longer works on her own and she likes hanging out with whoever else is there. Maybe depending what job there is, there's someone else, like, I don't know, a resident or something that, she wants to keep more of an eye on, or whatever. There could be various reasons for that I honestly wouldn't worry too much about. But when you say, it probably wouldn't bother me if it hadn't happened to me over and over again throughout my life with no apparent rhyme or reason. This I can relate to somewhat, where everything seems fine, this person seems like they want to hang out, they want to be your friend or whatever, and then all of a sudden, it's as if you said something behind their back and they found out and now they don't want to hang out with you anymore, even though you know that you didn't say anything bad about them behind their back. It is weird. What I would ask, OP, are you neurodivergent? Because we've talked about this before. I'm neurodivergent, and I tend to find, and from what I read in peer support groups as well, that with neurodivergent people, a lot of the time there's this thing of uncanny valley, because we think differently to neurotypicals. Typical being the most common, the most popular way, not necessarily normal or correct, but the more common, dominant way of communicating. Neurodivergent people communicate and socialize in a different way to that. Again, not wrong, or nothing bad necessarily, just that it's the minority, so it's not what most people are used to, right? So I tend to find that with neurodivergent people who try to mask or try to ironically blend in better and socialize better and get along with more people, make more friends, the way that they do that is by copying other people, observing the things that they do in social situations or around other people, or how they make friends, then trying to do that themselves, thinking that it will work, but then to other people, especially neurotypical people who don't get it, then it comes across as if it's like a robot, like trying to act like a human being. Not saying that neurodivergent people are robots, just that we're doing things that don't come naturally to us. So the way that it's perceived is like, that's somehow human-like, but there's something off about it. There's something weird about this person and what they're doing that maybe like creeps them out, makes them uncomfortable, whatever. Again, this is something that I've experienced myself, and it is kind of shitty. It does kind of bum you out, that like everything seemed fine. They seemed as if they wanted to be your friend, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like they don't want anything to do with you, and you know that you haven't said or done anything that should have made them feel like they didn't want to be around you anymore. It's a shame, and that's not necessarily what's happening here, but it's certainly the first thing I thought of, especially because you don't really give any information about the other situations there. There's not that much more I can say. But yeah, I feel for you, whatever the reason is. It doesn't feel nice. That being said, I still wouldn't think about it too much. That's their choice. If they are the kind of person that is uncomfortable around anyone who's a little bit different, then maybe they're not the kind of person that you want to be hanging out with anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cool. What's next? I'm so warm. Oh. But I can't have my fan on when I'm recording because then it's just too loud, right? Although, if you can hear something in the background, that's my fucking computer fan. Someone told me recently that there's this white noise in the back of my videos. I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't hear it. When my ears have a different frequency or something, when I watch my recordings back, I don't hear it, but some people do, I guess. And it's actually the fucking fan from my computer. No points for guessing who the manufacturer of that computer is. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have a fan on, just the fucking computer fan that I can't switch off. Boyfriend made new OnlyFans while I'm 5 months pregnant. This is pregnancy again, but essentially this guy's looking at porn, right? I don't think the pregnancy has anything to do with it, but I just again, I don't want it to be all sex advice and stuff like that, right? I got off birth control and I'm starting to find my boyfriend not attractive. This is apparently not safe for work. Let me check it. I think some people just mark that on the side of caution, you know? Let me see. I don't think it is not safe for work necessarily, but I just can't be bothered with it. As I say, I'm going to be selective today. I'm picky because, I'm pretty exhausted, I'm hot, and I'm going to do what I fucking want, okay? Fuck you, I do what I want. Yes. I feel like almost all of my friends are situational and not meaningful. How do I fix this? Oh, girl, tell me when you find out. I don't think I can give advice on this because I struggle with meaningful friendships as well. So yeah, for that reason, let's move on. I do not want to be financially associated with my parents anymore. This one seems different. So OP says, my parents have always mocked me over me not earning money and they've always brought it up. Today I was driving their expensive luxury car for the first time and all I was thinking about is please don't crash it. If you do, you'll have to listen to it from them for ages. I finally broke down crying, saying I will buy my own luxury car and drive it. I don't want to drive your car ever. You can keep it. So it sounds as if this wasn't even a conversation that actually happened. This was just going on in OP's head. Is that right? And they were breaking down crying from a conversation that didn't happen. Just to make sure I'm on the right page here. The car is really cool, so it's not a shitty one, it's a fancy Mercedes. I would assume you don't want to crash any car. Anyway, during arguments, they make a point to tell me, oh, see, you don't earn money, you're not good enough, opinion invalid, etc. At times when I need money and we had some heated arguments, they have threatened to cut me off in a fit of rage, but never done it. Today when I told this thought to my parents, they were upset and they told me they were treated like shit and ostracized by their in-laws post-marriage because they didn't earn enough money compared to my dad's sister's family. Dad said he wanted to make sure in his family this would never happen. Your worth wouldn't be on your earning capability, but rather because you're part of the family. Parents have said they have made a big mistake, but the minute I said just let it go and... What? The parents have said they have made a big mistake, but the minute I said just let it go and I don't want to talk about it. Then what? They asked a couple of times, please tell us why, but after I said nothing, and tried to evade the topic, Mum was like, oh, he doesn't mean it, he just gets so stressed and says this. Do you know what? I can't fucking read this. Like, I'm sorry, like, again, I don't mean to be mean to people who are maybe like struggling in the written word, especially in English, which may or may not be their first language. I don't know what kind of schooling or learning things they've got going on, but for me and my struggles, I can't read stuff like that. I'm sorry. Moving on. How do I get my husband to be intimate with me again? No. I feel like my girlfriend might be toxic and I'm not sure what to do. Sorry for the long post. I don't feel like a long post. My boyfriend ignores me. Workmate lying about me. Okay, here we go. Oops. Workmate lying. I was just told by a workmate who has always had my best interests at heart that one of her colleagues is spreading lies about me. The one example she stated was that people are being told I make her uncomfortable because I talk about how I enjoy the company of teens and making me out to be a complete creep. I don't discuss inappropriate affairs of my life, even if I even had any, at work, as it is entirely unprofessional. I work in a very reputation-heavy field and I've recently hit a complete wall in any manner of progress or advancement. I don't know who these lies are making it to, if those are the reason, or if the claims that they are occurring are 100% accurate, though I do trust my workmate. Nobody else is telling me what is going on, so I cannot confirm any of these details, and it's frustrating because I don't believe there's enough evidence to go to a management or HR if it is a misunderstanding. All I can go off is I've heard or I'm being told. How should I approach this? Honestly, I think that if you trust your friend and that if you think that this colleague who's spreading lies about you, if you think that could very well be true and you're having trouble at work and for no apparent reason, I think this could be it. So I would say that in your next meeting with your manager, bring that up and just be like, look, there's something else I wanted to talk to you about today. It's kind of awkward, but I feel like I need to bring it up. So I've heard that ex-colleague is spreading rumours about me that are not true and that I feel are really detrimental to my reputation here, and that I don't know if even like it's affecting my progress here as well. So this is what's apparently being said, and this is the person who's apparently saying it. Have you heard anything like this? What can we do about it? Should we like talk to them, or what would you suggest? So do it in that sort of way of like asking your manager for advice, you know. They might be completely uncomfortable with it. They might be like, oh, I have heard that, but I thought it was true, so I didn't want to fucking say anything. Now I'm in an awkward situation. Or maybe they haven't heard it at all, but they'll keep their ear out for it, you know, they'll keep an eye on it. Maybe they suggest having a chat together, something, I don't know. But since this is a workplace issue, it seems as if it needs to be dealt with in an appropriate way, such as that as well. If this is true, if that person is spreading rumours about you and you bring it up with them without telling anyone else first, then they could like up it. You know, they could start spreading even worse things about you because you've had the audacity to bring it up with them. So honestly, if it was me, I would bring it up with my own manager first, as I say, in that way of like actually asking them for advice, not saying that you want to report it, but just that this is what you've heard and it's a concern to you because you feel that it's detrimental to your reputation and your place in the company. And then that way as well, if it does go south, then your manager already knows that this was apparently going on and that, you know, there could be a reason for spreading more untruths about you, basically. But yeah, it's kind of a tricky situation because like, what are you even supposed to say to someone? Hi, are you making up rumours that I like to spend time with underage people? What are they going to say? Yes, I am spreading that rumour. Do you know what I mean? So as much as I like to deal with things head on, ideally, I think in workplace situations, it's can be a little bit different, you know, especially as well if you think that it's basically what the person has already done is to prime everyone else against you. So if you don't bring it up to someone in a semi-official capacity so that at least they know that you suspect it was a rumour from the start or that they're spreading lies about you from the start, then if they start saying worse things about you, then it's not like, oh, well, you know, is it just because whatever? Does that make sense? I don't fucking know. I'm just talking nonsense. Next one. Shall we do one more? You know, like when I sat down to record, like I wasn't feeling that toasty, but I'm feeling like just so overheated now that it's like not really helping. Usually when I come into these videos, like it makes me feel better, but now I just feel like desperate to put on the fan, to be honest. And it's a shame because, as I say, I feel like I haven't been here for a while, so I wanted to come on and get some energy from this, but whatever, doesn't really matter. How do I tell if a long-time friend of mine is a psychopath or a sociopath? Unless you are a trained medical professional in the appropriate field, I do not believe in diagnosing other people, especially where it's to do with mental health issues, and it's probably, let's be honest, in a fucking derogatory manner, so I'm not going to do that. My roommates won't get a job. That's not good. Both of my roommates are unemployed now, and I keep pushing for them to get a job, but they won't. They have some money saved for the next month's rent, but not too much after that. I have a lot of money saved and have a job, but I have been paying for all of our expenses like groceries and stuff to fix our apartment, like shower heads, etc. They just lay around all day and play video games and don't clean up. Meanwhile, I go to work and then I have to come home and clean up their mess and also cook dinner. I'm also expected to buy them dinner. I'm tired of it. I get it. I have a lot of money saved and they know that, but that's because I worked hard for it, and I'm also using that money for future surgery because I'm trans. How do I push them to get a job? I'm very tired of it. Honestly, I think you're getting ahead of yourself by trying to get them to do something and get a job. I think what you need to get yourself to do is stop paying for their shit. I mean, they're only your roommates. It's not like they're your fucking children or your partner. You having money has nothing to do with your roommates. Well, so just because you have money, it means they don't have to pay for anything? No. The reason why they're not getting a job right now is because they have no fucking incentive to get a job. You're paying for everything. You're doing all the chores. You're buying them dinner. Stop it. Don't try and get them to do anything. Just stop paying for their stuff and then see what they do. And if they're still shitty about it, if they still won't pay the rent or whatever, kick them out. I'm sorry, normally I try and be a lot more empathetic, but I just you're getting ahead of yourself. The problem isn't that they don't have a job, the problem is that they won't repay for stuff. They're taking advantage of you, that's the issue. Really? Like, how do you know how much money they have? What, you've got access to their bank accounts? They could have just as much or more money as you, but they're just happy for you to pay for shit. Do you know what I mean? No, this is bullshit. That's just nonsense. I said that was gonna be the last one. Let's look for one that I'm not gonna get so, I don't know, agitated about, right? Let's see if we can see one that's a bit more satisfactory. I want my son to suffer, but I can't do it. What the fuck? They've received the advice, but nevertheless. I say this out of love because I think my wife and I are spoiling our son. We have everything and he is a happy 3. You want your son to suffer and he's only 3 fucking years old? What is wrong with you? Oh my god. I thought this was gonna be like someone in his fucking 30s or something. Jesus Christ. Having everything can make you also feel like you have nothing to chase for, and I'm scared that will be my son. I didn't have anything when I was growing up, so I have a very high drive to get what I deserve, and I think that keeps me going. I'm very conflicted because on the one hand, I feel I need to be the father I never had and give him all the things and opportunities I never could have. But at the same time, I know that's what drives people, or at least drove me. Yeah, that's being extremely assumptive and a bit self-centered to say that that's what drives everyone just because it drives you. Anyway, I tell my wife now and then I want to move back to where I grew up, or even worse, for this very purpose. You're confused. You're so confused. Where you grow up. Let's continue. Let's continue. For the next 15 years, but I do really sound insane when I hear myself and not really sure if I can even do it. My hate was my fuel. So you basically want your son to grow up to be a spiteful, venomous person who is only driven by hate and resentment? You think that's healthy? Today was his birthday party and I just had to double take. I never even had a cake for my birthday until I met my wife. I don't want to put numbers up, but I'm not proud of how much it cost out of principle. My wife says I should be happy we can do this, but I'm not so sure. It doesn't have to be so fucking dramatic. You don't have to either live in a fucking hellhole or get your son €3,000 dollar cakes. It doesn't have, oh my god. The person didn't even ask for advice. They didn't even ask for advice, okay? But that is fucking bullshit. Saying that you want your 3-year-old son, 3 years fucking old son, to suffer just because you did, apparently. Like what? So out of spite and resentment yourself that you're still carrying, you want to pass that on to your son? Because that's all you're gonna fucking do. Like, just like you can not spoil someone without making them suffer. You're like completely I mean, people say neurodivergent, people see everything black and white, but that, like, come on, that's just fucking I think you know how I feel about this, okay? This is just ridiculous. You don't have to fucking spoil someone just to make them, like, oh, move on. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? It's obviously, I mean, it's not making me feel better, but at least I guess it's giving me energy a little bit. Oh, I'm just like, whatever. Oh my god, what is going on today? Warning, do I trust my father again? Yeah, I don't want to do that one. Getting over a girl with a boyfriend, no. Living week to week and I want to break the cycle. Okay, let's look at this. Calm my fucking self down. Okay. So I'm an 18-year-old male, says OP, finding myself entangled in an unending cycle that has persisted for the past year. Each Monday and Tuesday I attend university, which, while currently not too demanding, tends to consume a significant amount of time. Just from these 2 days? Wow, it must be pretty intense. Concurrently, I engage in retail work, devoting around 15 to 25 hours per week. While I hold an affinity for my job, its repetitiveness occasionally leads to monotony. Additionally, every Friday I allocate 3 to 4 hours to spend quality time with my friends. Regrettably, I find myself ensnared within this perpetual routine. Countless hours are squandered as I remain glued to my phone, a consistent source of inertia throughout the day. I don't understand what people mean by inertia, because I think of it in the science respect, but it feels like a lot of people don't mean that. So I'm looking up. Inertia. Okay, so the physics definition is a property of matter by which it continues in its existing state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless that state is changed by an external force. Yes, that's how I view inertia. So it confuses me when people use it referring to themselves. And the second definition would be a tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged, which I see how that extends there, as in without external force, you're basically just doing the same thing. Okay, fine. So I'm constantly lethargic despite eating and sleeping well. Despite my attempts to adopt new hobbies, they appear to be a strenuous task rather than an enjoyable pursuit. I'm aware that this dilemma is one experienced by countless individuals, potentially numbering the billions. Therefore, I'm reaching out to those who have successfully broken free from this cycle and have emerged as better versions of themselves. I mean, one thing I would say is that, like, give yourself a fucking break. Because you've got a lot on your plate. You're studying 2 days a week. You're working 2 to 3 days a week as well. Just from the hours that are put here, but, you know, whatever, 15 to 25 hours per week. Spending time with your friends as well. Having to then, you know, study and do your coursework and everything like that. if you spend a couple of hours on your phone every now and then, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, a lot of people do that to sort of unwind, just to like not be thinking about very much, not to have this thing of like, I must be productive every hour of the fucking day. And maybe that's the kind of thing that you're experiencing, you know, this guilt that you have to be productive every hour of the fucking day, which quite frankly is something that I'm realising more and more is a very toxic mindset. It's very damaging and unhealthy in itself. However, I can understand if what you're saying is that you don't enjoy spending hours on your phone, that you somehow end up in the habit of doing it, but you don't actually like to be doing it. That's fair enough. I mean, to be honest, this headline, living week to week, that's not what living week to week means. Living week to week means that you don't have any money and you don't know where you're going to get the money to pay for next week's food. So let's bring down the drama a little bit on that. So actually, I kind of did this a little bit. So, you know, my health for a while now has been very, very bad. I mean, it's been bad for decades, but it was been particularly bad within the last year or two. And I was really getting into the habit of just, you know, like lying around all the time, you know, being on my phone, etc., thinking that this was my, you know, trying to rest and have time to not do anything so that I can focus on my health and get better. However, it did kind of get to the point where I was like, I don't even want to be doing this anymore. What the fuck? So as I did get better with some new medication that I've been taking, I then found the spoons to be able to switch that a little bit. And what I did, instead of just being like, I'm not going to do that anymore, I should be doing this, I should be that, whatever, and instead of just being like, oh, I need to be doing something else, anything else, just do something else, what I did instead was to switch out that activity of being on my phone playing games to learning languages again. So as I say, I'm from the UK, I live in Germany. I did do German courses, but then I stopped when COVID happened and I haven't got back into it for reasons including health. However, as I say, as I started to feel a little bit better and realised that I didn't really want to be just playing games on my phone all the time, I switched out specifically that activity to learning languages through Duolingo, which, to be honest, still isn't the best app. It's improved since I used it previously. It's not ideal, but it's still something that I'm able to, instead of eradicating a habit, I've replaced the habit. So in times where I would normally play some games on my phone for a while, I'll instead learn languages for a little while. And that is something that is kind of like, it's productive in a sense, but it's not productive for any external reasons, any external factors. I want to get back to learning German again because I live in Germany and I want to be better at the language. And I've also always wanted to learn Spanish, and then my partner and all of his family are Spanish, so, and a lot of my friends are Spanish speaking as well, so that gives me extra incentive to finally learn a bit of Spanish. So it's something that I'm doing for myself. It's something that I also want to do and choose to do, but it's not coursework, it's not job work, it's not stuff for my friends, it's not stuff for anybody else, it's something for me. And if I don't do it, then there's no consequences at all, you know? So I would discourage you from, as I say, just replacing it with like studying or, you know, working or trying to do something like absolutely productive. Just replace it with something else that's a little bit better for you. For example, if you like cooking, cook. If you like painting, paint. If you like reading, read, you know? Replace it with something else that you like and isn't necessarily to do with productivity, so that it's not like a pressure. It's not like just one other thing that you have to do and then you feel like you need to go on your phone for a while because like you feel stressed out from doing that. That would be my advice. And just, yeah, take it a little bit at a time. Just gradually switch it out. And then, as I say, instead of eradicating a habit, you just replace it with a better one. Cool? Yes, okay. Let's finish there. This was a better one to finish on, I feel like. Yeah, I'm in a weird mood, man. Like, we just like whizzed through those and I was all hot and agitated all the way through, and I just like, yeah, that was a bit weird. To be honest, I might now go on another subreddit and do another one of these videos in the hopes of getting something a little bit more of whatever it is that I need right now. And I'm going to try turning on my fan because I am warm. And then I'm going to watch it back and see whether you can hear the fan, if it's too bad, in the background. And if not, then I'll post it. And if so, then I'll just leave it. Okay? Yeah, I hope you found that episode okay. It was, yeah, as I say, a bit different. I somehow was in the mood and somehow also at the same time not in the mood. I think again it's just like the repetitiveness of some of these posts. Like so many of them are to do with sex and marriage that I just want to like get away from that a little bit. I'm not sure what subreddit I can now look at that's going to be a little bit different. If you have ideas for good subreddits that might be good for me to respond to on this channel, let me know in the comments below, or you can also reach out on my social media, which is linked in the description. Watch some of my other videos if you want, subscribe for more, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, maybe soon, maybe not. Alright. Bye bye, 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 bye.